Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of r/entitled people. In today's episode, entitled client thinks that everything can be solved by talking to the supervisor. Childhood best friend wanted $3,000 bachelor party. My friend expects too much. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. Entitled client thinks that everything can be solved by talking to the supervisor. For a little more context, I work as a receptionist at a medical clinic and it is not my job of choice. Even though I don't love my job, I take it seriously, as other people's health is not a joke. In addition to having the job policy of doing the best job possible at the moment, having to correct later what is much more work. I have seen many clients who are rude or disrespectful, including an elderly lady trying to beat my coworker using a cane, which became the unit's internal joke for the month. In another day's work, a client arrives with 3 pages of exams to take, big but not the biggest I've ever seen, and as always I added each exam to the system. Keep in mind that it is not the only step in the work, it is still necessary in some medical plans to make additional requests and add each individual code back to the health insurance system. As the client was on the phone, the first part was very quiet, but when she finished the call she started complaining and insisted on being in a very loud tone for the whole place to hear, talking about how long I was taking and how much time she needed too much to be there. As professionally as possible, I said what I was doing. The most delayed part, I was attaching the order to a fixed agreement and waiting for the return. The client asked to speak to my supervisor, who was already coming to see what had happened. My supervisor knows this type of client very well, and he knows that it is not possible to do all the procedures by magic. With all the professional words he explained to the client. The client did not accept what my supervisor said and demanded that my supervisor substitute me for opening the record. My supervisor, being responsible for the area, had to resolve the situation. Now comes the part that the client does not know. All the forms have to be opened at the login of who was making the request, and I was no longer responsible. With a big smile I erased everything I spent almost 2 hours doing, and bonus, I had to cancel the request for medical insurance. Good luck having to wait another 2 hours for a completed medical record to be done again, in addition to the time after the exams are approved in the health insurance. P.S. I am studying English, and if I have misspellings please let me know. Oh, that's brilliant. The fun you can have when it backfires on an entitled person, and all you can say is, well, I'm following your request of it not being me. Unfortunately for you, I have to delete all that I've submitted so far. So if the person who made the initial request drops dead, all their work has to be redone? Your English is great. Just substitute context for contest in the first para. But context is the correct word. If I'm not mistaken, a contest is a competition, which is not the case here. Sounds like the entitled idiot hit the brick wall of HIPAA face first. Instant karma. No way is this HIPAA. What this person describes is either a lie or not in the US. In the US you don't wait for insurance to approve your visit while you're there, that's why we have appointments and billing. No ICD-10 coder would code a bill on the spot and make the patient wait for insurance approval, as those typically take days. So unless they are putting in beds for the patients to wait in, this is either a fabrication, a problem with English, or a different country altogether. That's a great story. I hope you find your dream job soon. In this instance, in your first sentence, you want to use the word context, not contest. I wish you luck with your learning. Childhood best friend wanted $3,000 bachelor party. I was, keyword was, the best man for a long time best friend. He has been a student for a long time and recently became a doctor in LA. After starting to work he became extremely flashy, preoccupied with designer items, wears multiple diamond Cartier bracelets, etc. I was honored to be his best man until he planned the bachelor party. Yes, I know it's the job of the best man, but he wanted to hire a party planning company in Mexico, and ended up sending out an itinerary that was about $3,000. On top of the ridiculous expenses, I didn't like the itinerary, clubs, strippers, etc. all weekend, and when I tried to bail, he gave me a hard time. I sucked it up and went. I told him a couple months before that I couldn't make the first day. It was 3 nights 4 days, due to work. All was fine during the bachelor party, and though my wife was pissed that I spent $3,000. The real trouble came when 2 days later he sent out the Venmo breakdown of what everyone owed him. He then sent me a passive-aggressive text about how he needs me to pay an extra $900 for the first day that I missed to make it fair for the other guys. He broke down the charges and charged me for every last meal and Uber ride that I wasn't even there for. For the sake of the friendship, I paid him the $900, but it caused huge issues between my wife and I, and we ended up not going to the wedding, Friday wedding right after Christmas. Needless to say, we haven't spoken since then. I miss our friendship, so I reached out and am really kicking myself for reaching out to someone who showed his true colors and is entitled. By the way, he never responded. I'm non-confrontational, so the end of a friendship is difficult to accept, but he's an entitled so I know I'm better off. Thoughts? You need to grow a spine paying $3,000 for something you didn't like/want to do. Your wife is already mad, and then when he asked for more you paid it? It's pity you got sucked into the expensive bachelor party, but you made the right call in the end. If he'd sent me that Venmo, he'd have never heard from me again. I certainly wouldn't have paid him a dime. What right call? Not showing up to a wedding he'd already sunk a ton of money into? Then later caving and reaching out to a toxic friend. I'd have bailed before the bachelor party. Did he send his gift expectations with the invitations? He charged you for the things you didn't do due to work? Are you serious? Time to move on. I'm with your wife. You're an idiot with a noodle for a spine. It sucks to lose a friend, but yeah, it sounds like this one changed into someone unrecognizable anyway. Your wife was understandably upset, but I hope things got ironed out with her. When and if possible, I'd try to do something extra special for her to make up for it. She'll have your back, and this so-called friend definitely wasn't going to ever be there for you, but live and learn. My friend expects too much. I just need to vent because I can't take this anymore. I've had this friend for 10+ years now. She used to be fun to hang out with, but took advantage of my naive doormat personality from the start, and it's starting to make me feel gross and wrong. Like I'm only valued as a friend if I help in various ways and never say what I think. At the beginning of our friendship, she lived in my flat for months paying nothing, because she was in between flats. Of course, it was meant to be for 2 weeks, which kept extending. I had to very awkwardly ask her to please find a place eventually. She's done this with other people too. She hates paying her share when we're out and expects free stuff from everyone, not just men, which is wrong too. But different topic. She does it extremely sneakily. Once it's time to pay, she sort of just waits and pretends not to notice. She currently hasn't had a job for nearly 2 years and has a lot of debt. I've tried to suggest for her to get any job just to get back on her feet and start paying it off, but she deflects. If anyone is more honest with her, she starts an argument. She's lost a lot of friends lately, and I'm one of the few left. Interestingly, she seems to keep friendships separate. The few times I've met any of her other friends, I was left with the impression they were similar to me in personality, but also had more money. In the meantime, she also managed to travel the world using various people's generosity while doing zero work. I can't afford to go anywhere even though I have a job. The only line I've drawn is giving her money. I shut that down once and she learned not to go there. I know what I need to do, so this is just a rant. I'm a people pleaser with an avoidant personality, so this is a huge source of stress. Not making others happy makes me feel immense guilt. I know I need to address it and stop letting people take advantage. I've tried distancing myself, but she persists. If I say I'm busy, she gets passive-aggressive, knowing I'd feel bad. I've tried to be helpful before, but I think this is crossing into enabling territory and I want no part of it. After all, nothing stops her from working and paying her share like the rest of us. She has no health issues, no dependents. This is pure entitlement. I hate that I have to work too, but I do it because I'd never let anyone else pay for me, because I value other people's time. Her entitlement tells me she doesn't value mine. I wish some people would just take the hint and try to help themselves too. I don't understand how it's not utterly exhausting to live like this. Might as well get a job. If anyone has any similar experiences or thoughts, it would be great to hear. Thanks. Edit. Just wanted to say thank you to everyone who took the time to comment. I've read each one and really appreciate it. It was really helpful to get this out of my chest and hear about other people's experiences. 8 Reddit grand, smiley face. What's in this relationship for you? What would you be missing by cutting off contact? I suppose nothing. It's sad how it can take you this long to realize. Opie, she's not your friend and she's using you because you allow it. Form the first sentence. It was the obvious. Op knew what type of person she was before Op invited her into their life. This is all on Op. We read these types of stories here pretty much daily, and I can't understand why the Opies of these stories tolerate years of this. Tolerate or don't tolerate it. You don't need anyone's permission to make a decision. If you have to pay for friendship with your money and dignity, do so, but don't bitch about the choice you've made. If you think you're just being kind but still complain, you're not really kind. If you're trying to keep the peace but bitch about it, you're really just cowardly. I'm genuinely not trying to belittle Opie here or the countless others before her or the others with a similar story who are just moments away from posting a similar story. You're here because you've chosen to be there with the antagonists of your life. Make better choices. You've long since gone into enabling territory here. Like the other comment asked, what does she bring to the friendship that benefits you? That's really the question. If the answer is nothing or very little, I think it would be clear you need to end the friendship. There are people out there that look for and use folks who are kind and accepting. My husband is like that, and he's gotten used more than once in the last few years. It's always upsetting to him, so now he's asking me what I think of people. It's saved him from a few situations now. You might see if you can find a friend that's got a touch of the a-hole to screen folks like this out of your life. You could just block her from social media and turn your accounts private. Block her number and slash or never respond back. Even if you feel guilty. If you made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share, and we will see you in the next video.